Let's talk about the 5 most friendly countries for queer people. So if you are LGBTQ plus and you are looking to visit, you're looking to live abroad, these are the 5 most friendly countries. So let's just get into it. Number 5 is going to be Canada. So Canada has marriage equality, it has strong legal protections, and visibly queer neighborhoods. You can see these in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, plenty of places where you can be queer and out, and it's friendly. Lots of diversity in terms of ethnicities, expressions, how people express themselves is people are very open-minded. Now, I couldn't say that the entire country is pretty friendly, towards gay people. When you get more out into the countries and the more rural areas, that could be different. But most people, when you move to Canada, you're moving to major cities like Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto. So that with, marriage equality was one of the first countries, not the first, but one of the few first countries to have marriage equality and have protections for queer people. It's a very safe place to be. Vancouver in particular is kind of like Hollywood. Like, Vancouver is a place where a lot of movies and TV shows are filmed, so it has a very open-minded art community, and usually in those kind of spaces you have more queer people being themselves. So I would highly recommend Vancouver, highly recommend Toronto, although Toronto gets a bit cold. They got the snow. So if you're into that, maybe you're into that. But very welcoming place, and it's a place that people can live their life pretty freely. There's also government health care. There's access to education. It's just generally a familiar place to be, especially if you're coming from the United States. It's very similar in the culture, except that it's probably just a lot nicer than the United States. I have heard, though, that the medical system, the medical care has gone down a bit. It's not as great as it used to be, but hey, it's available and it's affordable, so you can't hate that. Number 4 is going to be the Netherlands. So the Netherlands are actually the first country to legalize same-sex marriage. They were ahead of the game in terms of any country ever. It was the Netherlands. They're pretty open to public affection. It's widely tolerated. There's other things about the country that are pretty liberal in terms of like transportation, in terms of drug laws and things like that. It's a very much like live and let live country, and no one really hates on you for being yourself, right? It has a really big pride celebration every year. You hear about it all over the news. Yeah, so the Netherlands is like a very great place to be if you are queer, especially if you want to visit a country for the first time. I'm not sure about living there long term, but in terms of going on vacation, my wife has been there. I have friends who've gone there. It's a very welcoming place, and it's easy to get around, and you don't have to worry about being yourself there and being discriminated against. So, and the weather is not too bad. Of course, it can be kind of rainy at times and cold, but for the most part, really great weather. Can't hate on that. So number 3, you have Spain. So Spain is extremely LGBTQ friendly in terms of its culture, especially if you go to the queer hubs like Madrid and Barcelona. It's a very welcoming place to foreigners and expats and things like that. There's some laws there that are very welcoming. Although I would say in the last few years, locals have been pretty irritated by tourism. Although that is how the country makes money. They don't have any other kind of exports or imports really going on. There has been some tension. Probably you've heard about locals mad that rent and things are going up, or the cost of living, but that's really not your problem to bear. That is the government's issue that needs to be taken care of. But outside of all of that, just living in Spain or visiting Spain, if you are LGBTQ plus, you are going to have a great time. There's going to be plenty of places to go out, shopping, to go out clubbing, to go out eating, and you're going to feel perfectly fine being out and about. People are going to treat you like a normal person, even if you are outwardly queer. Number 2 is going to be New Zealand. So New Zealand has marriage equality, and it's generally a progressive island and very safe place to be, as compared to Australia, which it's kind of like night and day. Australia is a very conservative and at times very racist place to be, and New Zealand is kind of the opposite. And don't get me wrong, it's not that New Zealand doesn't have racism, it's just that it's a little bit more of a progressive place, more open-minded, and more of a live and let live kind of place. Maybe because it's an island. Maybe the fact that it's a giant island has something to do with it, but yeah, great place to visit. It's kind of hard to get to, like Australia. It's in, it's at the bottom of the world. Long plane rides, but really, really safe and really, really welcoming. So New Zealand might be a place that you want to visit. Now, the number one place is going to be Thailand. Now, Thailand is culturally tolerant toward LGBTQ plus expression, like extremely tolerant. Bangkok has really strong queer nightlife. There's legal protections. They're evolving, and obviously like the social tolerance is high. And then there's gay marriage. So gay marriage was enacted January 2025, and that was a great milestone for the country. There is a great tolerance not only for gay people in the country, but also for trans identified people. So you probably heard of the Angels. Some people call them ladyboys, which is very disrespectful, but some people embrace that in the country, but it's a discriminatory name. I wouldn't say that to them. I would call them angels. They're people who are born male, who express themselves in a feminine way, and whatever on the trajectory of that could be completely female or just certain aspects of femininity. And then you have toms, who are people who were born female at birth and who express themselves in a masculine way. And they could just be like masculine queer women, or they could be transgender men. It's a plethora of identities, and you just have to ask them. You have to ask people personally how they feel. They're also a culture that does not care much about putting themselves into boxes to begin with. So when you ask people, are you gay or you straight, they usually won't answer you directly. They'll be like, love is love. I just love people. I don't really care about gender. It's just a really more nuanced way of thinking about identity. And there are people there, of course, who say, yeah, I'm gay or I'm lesbian, but a lot more who are just like, I just love people. I don't really care. Which is really nice. I have personally been in Bangkok. I was in Bangkok for 3 months, and I felt very comfortable. I saw queer people everywhere. They're everywhere. Men, women, all just like older people, and just living their life and like having a lot of joy. What I also saw too, which was really nice, is I saw a lot of angels who were in public facing jobs. So in the United States, trans people aren't always visible. They're usually in just like, if you see them, it's like maybe out and about in the day and they're walking somewhere or traveling somewhere, but you don't see them at work. It's not as often you see them in public facing jobs, but in Bangkok, I saw them in every type of public facing job. If there's a job, a trans person might be there, okay? And that was really pleasant to see people just like living their lives and not having to be shunned, not having to have like a stay-at-home job or a job where that's not public facing because of their identity. They're just accepted. It's like, you're a worker, everybody works, everybody needs a job, and people get hired, you know? If you are a queer person and you are looking for a place that's going to accept you for who you are, Thailand is definitely the place, especially the major cities. So if you're going to Bangkok, if you're going to Chiang Mai, maybe some of the islands as well. I'm not as familiar with those places, but I mainly stayed in Bangkok. So definitely if you're going to Bangkok, you're going to feel right at home and comfortable being yourself. Although I would say public displays of affection are not common for anyone. If you're gay or you're straight, you're not allowed to be like kissing people in public. That's not a thing. It's very like inappropriate. They feel like you should not be sexual in any way in public, especially around children. You can express yourself in terms of your clothing or your personality or the way that you talk. That's totally fine. That is my list of the 5 most friendly countries. You've got Canada number 5, Netherlands at number 4, Spain at number 3, New Zealand at number 2, and Thailand at number 1. Now, if you are interested in visiting these countries, if you're interested in visiting any country, if you're interested in moving abroad, I can help you with that. I am a lifestyle architect. I help people design and build their house, which is their life. And, it's up to you to live in it and maintain it, but I'm here to help you. I will help you with moving abroad, planning a trip abroad, helping you with like financial literacy or financial freedom to get you to a place where you can travel. I love helping people with all types of issues and problems in their life. If you are interested in my services, please look in the description. I have links in the description below, free resources as well as ones that are paid. If you want to consult with me, just reach out, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.